We're about 2.5 months into the season, really close to the halfway point. So let's go around the league and find every team's most surprising player, focusing on the guys who have really broken out this year. If you want to find one specific team, this is an order based on city. Arizona Diamondbacks, Justin Martinez. Last year, he made his major league debut, only appearing in 10 games, pitched 10 innings and gave up 14 runs. This year, he figured it out. 17 games, 21 2/3 innings, 1 earned run. That's an 0.42 ERA. It's a small sample size, but so far he's been great. Atlanta Braves, Reynaldo Lopez. He played for 3 teams last year, all out of the bullpen. He hadn't been a full-time starter since 2020, and his career ERA coming into 2024 was 4.32. This year, he came out with his hair on fire. 11 starts, 63 innings, 1.85 ERA. Baltimore Orioles, Jordan Westburg. This first rounder from 2020 saw limited time last year, and he was good, above league average. But this year, as a full-time starter, he's risen to all-star level. 278 average, 10 homers, 39 RBI, 831 OPS, 140 OPS plus. Boston Red Sox, Tanner Houck. I had a lot to choose from, surprisingly, mostly on offense, but I gotta go with Houck. Last year was his first time as a full-time starter and his ERA peaked over 5. This year, he's been one of the best in baseball. 13 starts, 85 innings, 191 ERA, only giving up 2 home runs all year. Chicago Cubs, Shota Imanaga. We knew this guy was good. We saw him during the World Baseball Classic. But did anyone expect him to be hands down better than Yamamoto? I don't think so. He had one terrible start against Milwaukee, driving his ERA up to 188. But if it wasn't for that, he'd be cruising with an ERA under 1. Chicago White Sox, Eric Fedde. After 6 disappointing years in Washington, he goes to Korea and dominates. That earns him a 2-year deal with the White Sox, and so far so good. He's had a few rough outings, but after 13 starts, he's got a 3.27 ERA and 1.24 ERA plus. Cincinnati Reds, Tyler Stevenson. I didn't have any great options here, but Stevenson has looked great in the past. Took a step back last year, so nobody knew what direction he was going. So far, he's raised his average 20 points, OPS 67 points. His OPS plus was well below average at 87, now it's up at 116. He's on pace to blow past his career high of 13 homers, so the Reds have to be happy he turned it around. Cleveland Guardians, David Fry. Last year, he made his debut. 57 games, 734 OPS, 103 OPS plus. All around a solid player. This year, he's playing a lot more and he's responding. Already doubling last year's home run total, batting .336, 1063 OPS, 206 OPS plus. Who knows if he can keep it up, but he could find himself on the All-Star team. Colorado Rockies, Ezequiel Tovar. I was torn between Tovar and Austin Gomber, but I gotta go Tovar. 2023 was his first full season and he had a decent average, but he only walked 25 times in 615 plate appearances. That was a 287 on base and 695 OPS, 79 OPS plus. This year, he has that average up to 294. Still not walking much, but he found his power stroke. Slugging close to 500, 10 homers, 813 OPS, 121 OPS plus. Detroit Tigers, Tarik Skubal. We've known about this guy for years. He's shown flashes of promise. He only put in half a season last year, but had a good 2.80 ERA. This year, he came out and he's been a top 5 pitcher in baseball. He's already almost matched last year's body of work. 12 starts, 73 innings, 197 ERA, 207 ERA plus. Houston Astros, Ronel Blanco. He came up for 6 innings in 2022, made 7 starts and 10 bullpen appearances last year, a 4.50 ERA, 52 innings. So he was putting himself in a position to be in that rotation, and thanks to a beat-up staff, he was vital to the Astros early on. He started his season by throwing a no-hitter, and he kept it up after that, a 1.65 ERA in April, 1.99 through May 26. It's only his last 2 bad starts driving that ERA up to 2.78. Kansas City Royals, Seth Lugo. He's been a very solid pitcher for years. Last year was his first as a full-time starter since 2017, and he had a 3.57 ERA. This year, he's taken it to a whole new level in Kansas City. 13 starts, 84 innings, 9 wins against 1 loss, 2.13 ERA. He's gone from a solid pitcher to a possible all-star starter. Los Angeles Angels, Luis Rengifo. He's always been the quiet bat in front of or behind Ohtani and Trout, and I guess Rendon when he plays. This year, all those guys are gone and he's stepped it up. He's already blown away his career high in steals with 15, raised his average to 312. More of a doubles machine than a home run hitter this year, but his OPS is up at 808, OPS plus 128. Los Angeles Dodgers, Gavin Stone. With a lot of their starters still on the shelf, Gavin Stone has been a big reliable arm for that rotation. He wasn't good in his 31 innings last year, but after 12 starts this year, he's 7-2 and has a 2.93 ERA. Miami Marlins, Ryan Weathers. He's been around since 2021, but he's never had a good season. His ERA was 5.88 coming into 2024. He's been very solid this year. 13 starts, 71 innings, 3.55 ERA, 1.21 ERA+. Milwaukee Brewers, Brian Hudson. He came up for 6 games for the Dodgers last year, giving up 7 runs in 8 2/3 innings. So he found a new home in Milwaukee and he's been dominant. 23 games, 35 innings, only 4 earned runs. That's a 1.03 ERA. Minnesota Twins, Simeon Woods Richardson. Even though we saw him in 2022 and 2023, he only pitched 1 game in each season. Now, he's in that rotation. 10 starts, 50 innings, a 2.84 ERA. He's gonna get a lot of Rookie of the Year votes if he can keep that up. New York Mets, Mark Vientos. He was a part-time player last year, and in 65 games, he hit 9 homers but only had a 620 OPS. This year, he's still seeing limited time, only 21 games and 78 plate appearances, but he's pushed his average up over 100 points at 314, 586 slugging, 958 OPS. He's been a consistent starter since mid-May, so let's see if he can keep it up. New York Yankees, Luis Gil. If you have this guy, who even needs Garrett Cole? He pitched for the Yankees a bit in 2021 and 2022, but he came back this year and he's been one of the best stories in baseball. 12 starts, 69 innings, 1.82 ERA. That leads the American League. This is the Yankees' biggest surprise, but may also be the biggest surprise in all of baseball. Oakland A's, Mason Miller. The A's needed something to make him interesting, and they found it with Mason Miller. Last year, he actually started 6 games, came out of the bullpen for 4 more, but this year, they moved him back to the bullpen and he's been great. 22 games, 12 saves, 2.20 ERA, striking out 17 batters per 9, sometimes hitting 103 on the gun. He's gotten knocked around a bit in the last 2 weeks, but between April 2nd and May 21st, he had 19 scoreless innings over 15 games. Philadelphia Phillies, Ranger Suarez. After 2021, a lot of people were high on Suarez, and he's been huge for the Phillies in the playoffs, but in the regular season, he's just been an average pitcher. This year, he's taken aim at a Cy Young. 13 starts, 10 wins and 1 loss, 79 innings, and he has a Major League best 1.81 ERA, 2.22 ERA+, and 8.54 WHIP. Pittsburgh Pirates, Jared Jones. It was him or Bailey Falter, but I'm going with a second rounder from 2020, making his debut this year. He's put in 12 starts, 8 of them he's got at least 6, and he really only had 1 bad start, that coming against the Tigers. He's sitting on a 3.25 ERA, and it's one of the big reasons the Pirates are top 5 in the National League in pitching. San Diego Padres, Jurickson Profar. He's playing now like everyone thought he would play his whole career. He never lived up to the hype when he came up as a 19-year-old in 2012, but at age 31, he's found it. 3.22 average, 9 homers, 42 RBI, leads the league with a 4.19 on base, 9.10 OPS, 165 OPS+. On a team full of stars, he's been their best player. San Francisco Giants, Elliot Ramos. He barely got any playing time over the last 2 years. 60 plate appearances last year and a 537 OPS. But since making his season debut on May 8th, he's been the Giants' best player. 3.27 average, 6 homers, 23 RBI, 973 OPS. Doing this over 28 games. Seattle Mariners, Brian Wu. He was the 5th starter on a very good rotation last year. 18 starts and a 4.21 ERA, just about league average. He had a late start to this season, but after his first 6 starts, he's on fire. 33 innings, 24 strikeouts and 2 walks, just a 5.35 WHIP and 1.07 ERA. Small sample size, but promising for sure. St. Louis Cardinals, Mason Wynn. He got some experience at the end of last year. 37 games, but only hit 172, 467 OPS. But this year, he flipped the switch, starting off at the bottom of the order, but now leading off. 3.03 average, 790 OPS, 126 OPS+. Tampa Bay Rays, Garrett Clevenger. He's always showed some promise out of the bullpen, but has never pitched more than 23 innings in a season. This year, he's already set a career high at 25 2/3, appearing in 27 games, and that consistent work has been good for him, sitting on a 1.40 ERA. Texas Rangers, Josh Smith. He put in half a season in the last 2 years, but his offense wasn't there. He could never crack the 200 mark, his OPS peaking at 633. But this year, he's been an everyday player. His average is already up 100 points at 285. OPS up 180 points at 803. 4 homers and 15 doubles. He's finding himself hitting third on a world champion team. Toronto Blue Jays, Trevor Richards. Since landing in Toronto in 2021, he's been used a lot, but his ERA has been at or pushing 5. This year, they've called on him 26 times, 30 innings, and he's dropped that ERA under 3. Washington Nationals, Trevor Williams. When the Nats brought him in last year, they wanted him to go back to being a full-time starter, and over 30 starts, he had a 5.55 ERA. He ran it back this year, 11 starts so far, and he's brought that ERA all the way down to 2.22. He led the league, giving up 34 homers last year, and this year he's only given up 2. So there you go, every team's most surprising player. Let me know what you think, if you agree or disagree, and who you would pick for your favorite team or any team. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like. And if you're new here and want to see more like this, please give me a sub. Stay tuned next week for every team's most disappointing player. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.